Morning everyone, welcome back to RCH Builders. So we have got the roof finally all put together. It's all tar papered. We have put down actual ice and water shield in the large cricket because the roofing pitch right there is a 212, and with it being that low, we put ice and water shield all the way up through it, and then we put rolled roofing on top of that, and then now we are putting shingles on top of that for the looks, and that way all of that tar will be able to melt together and keep it from leaking. With it being such a low pitch, shingles by themselves would not have been good enough. The customer has requested for us to weave the valleys instead of doing the way it's typically done with architectural shingles, which with architectural shingles, the way we usually would do it is you'll take, let me spin the camera. Usually what you'll do with architectural shingles, what you do is you'll pick the lower pitch or the roof that most of the water is going to run to. So in this case, this cricket is the lowest pitch roof, and so this heavier pitch is going to run down onto that one when it rains. So usually in that case, what you will do is you'll simply run these shingles here up that side a little bit, and then you'll let these ones come down on top of it, and you'll just cut them off at an angle. Now in this case, this homeowner has asked for us to weave them together. So it takes a lot more time. Instead of just running all the way up through this cricket, we have to run the cricket, that side, and the other side all at the same time until we get to a certain point. Also, because there's different angles here, so a lot of times when you're weaving these together, you'll do it like this, what we've done over here, where you can see you've got one shingle, then the other shingle, then the one, then the other, just back and forth, one on one after the other. However, where the cricket comes in at a much lower pitch, you'll see there that we are, let's see, at first, because of how narrow it was, it worked good. And then right here, you can see we started doing 2 up through and then 1 across, and 2 and then 1, 2 and then 1. And then right here, because of just the pitch and the where it was kind of where the transition was, there ended up being 3. So you guys got to kind of watch that and see what looks best to try to weave them together, and you got to think of how water's going to run. So you did miss a bunch. Yesterday it was way too hot for me to have the camera up here and out, but yesterday was working on this all by myself, and you can see I did that whole triangle right there, that section. It comes down and across and then over, and we're going up through that hip right there. So basically working all that. So I mean, that was a good bit. It may not seem like a whole lot, but with the weaving it takes a lot longer than otherwise. Plus, again, was working on it by myself, so a lot of funky angles, so makes it very interesting to try to make sure that you weave everything in a way and run the stuff so that water will run off. So the only thing left here is we got to put some ridge cap up through, same thing here, and then across that one. But other than that, we've got that whole section tied in and started going up pretty well up through there. After tying maybe 1 or 2 more across here at this position point, then we'll be able to just pretty much just run that one all the way up through. So about to get started. Hopefully it won't get too hot. I'm going to try to get as much of this on camera as possible, but I know it definitely does get warm. So like I said, I want to do what I can and try to get as much on video for you to watch, but if it gets too hot, I'm gonna have to turn the phone off so it don't burn up. Alright, so ran out of nails. Actually, a couple of my guys asked me if I wanted me to bring the whole box of nails up here and all that. But when you're doing this, today is a cooler day than it has been here, but it is still supposed to be in the mid to high 80s. It's considered a cool day because it's not 90 or 95, or we had a couple of days where it was 100. But that way, what I do is I got this little pouch that you've probably seen on my back, and I put 4 racks of nails in it, and I put 1 rack in it, and I carry 1 rack of nails for the gun. That gives me 5 racks of nails. Pretty much they have the people who do the manufacturing of the nails and the shingles. They pretty much have it set up to where 1 rack of nails will do 1 bundle. So with 5 racks, that lets me do 5 bundles of shingles, which is about 166, roughly 166 square feet of roofing, which doesn't necessarily look like a lot, but it is a lot of shingles to put down, and that way, by only carrying up 5 racks, doing 5 bundles, then it helps designate to make sure that you don't just keep on going and not realize how hot you're getting. So that's typically what I'll do. I'll do the 5 rolls, then I'll go down and stock up on nails and drink of water. So it's a way to help pace yourself and make sure that you don't forget to hydrate, because that is very important, especially when it is super hot like it has been for the past few weeks and months actually out down here. So I'm gonna go get a drink and then get back to it again. You want to make sure that you put no nails within like 6 inches of either side of that valley. So we've been doing, we got 2 and then 1 this way. Has been working pretty well to follow the angles. to try and make sure those seams, again, those seams are about 5, at least minimum 4 inches, somewhere between 4, 5, 6 inches away from each other. You can start on either side of the cricket, either there or that way. I've been coming from that direction this way because I was trying to knock out all of those little gables and ridges over that way. But now that I've got most of them, and both sides have just one roof section over there and here, does not really matter which one I start on. So I went ahead and started over that way simply for the purpose of being able to mess a little bit more with this side. So whichever side I start on, it gives me a little bit more room to play with the other. And on that one, where it's a new valley coming in, a new hip coming down, it's going to take a little bit of messing with it to get it all nice and straight looking. So that's why I started on the other side. Once I get it rolling, I may go back to the other way simply because I'm right-handed and it works better for me. Alright everyone, so unfortunately, like I figured, it got way too hot up here for this camera, and I had to shut it down, put it on charge, but I think we at least got a good bit of today on there. So I got all the way up pretty much. I basically got what I was going for, which was to try to be completely done on all this interior section where this cricket is. So I've gotten all the way up here. We've got all that. So if you look at it from this angle, you can probably see it a little bit better. So you can see where I've stopped it, and I got it kind of stair-stepped right there. That's because when I come up through that area up there, I need that to all tie together. So I got to stop there until I bring that side up. And then that big old section over there, I have stopped there simply because that's where the shingles are in the way. But other than that, this whole area is done, aside from putting in the ridge caps, which we'll do at the very end. I'll do that, the entire thing. But so I was wanting to get that done, so then that way tomorrow I can move forward with the next step and have this whole area done. So the only valley left that we'll have to weave, and they'll slow us down, is that one right there, which will then come up and tie into this. So that part will take a little bit longer. I don't think I'm going to start there though tomorrow. I'm thinking what I want to do tomorrow is come all the way down here and go ahead and take care of all these triangles. So we got 1, 2, and then 3 right here. So I'm going to try and get all 3 of those first probably. And then once we have those done, then go ahead and work on this big side, taking it down that way, starting from this end. That way I can get it all nice and straight, and I'll use up as many of these bundles of shingles as possible before we get to that area and before we get up here, because that, of course, as that comes across, it's going to have to tie into that valley where we'll have to weave it. So it'll get most of these shingles out the way. Then I can also go ahead and finish up this last bit here without having to move all the shingles. It's just a pain to have to move them shingles more than you need to. You're going to use them up anyway, so might as well. So that's the end of today's roofing, and hopefully tomorrow we'll be very close to being finished with it. I got my guys working on other things, so I've been doing this 100% by myself. So 2 days worth of work, and that's a lot of roof. Okay everyone, so like I mentioned before, this is a job for an actual customer, so can't really video everything. Plus on top of that, it being so hot that the camera just cannot stand to be running all the time up here, especially in the sun on this black roof. So we did get a little triangle finish. We finished out this last side, which was not on video, and up through, and we've got all the ridge cap down, and along with the ridge vents, which we showed in a previous video at least how to do that. So the roof is finished. We've got it all done, completed, tied back into the original, sealed off with tar where the nails are at the top of the ridge vent. Again, that's shown in the other video, the whole thing. A couple things that I'm probably going to do is I'm going to put a repair boot over the top of that boot, because the way that the previous roofers did the caulking around the top of that, either the boot would sit too high or too low, so it just was not sitting good. So I'm going to put a repair boot. It's going to match what the homeowners have already got on their existing vents anyway. It's just basically going to be, it'll look like that. So again, it'll match what they already have. It just helps make sure that water's, the boot should be fine because it's sealed, and what little bit of water sits in that little indentation that you see there should just evaporate before doing anything. But the little repair boot will just ensure that it'll be fine. The only other thing that we're going to do is I'll spray paint this one black, just because I don't like the way a pipe looks coming up through the roof when it's the standard plumbing pipe is white against a black roof. It just makes it stick out like a sore thumb. So I like to spray paint them black with Rust-Oleum. Works just fine and keeps it from being visible. Most people won't even notice it's even there. They'll just kind of overlook it. So that's it for this video on the roofing. At least the roof is all finished, and we'll be moving on to other things.